Hello, everyone. I'm actually back here home in my studio after returning from a road trip to Utah where I met Cheyenne and Kaleb Austin. They are the married couple making Caleb's country music dreams come true through the power of a huge loyal following on social media. You might remember seeing them on my show via Zoom a couple of times, but I wanted to meet them in person. So they invited me to a performance at a venue just outside of their hometown of Draper, Utah. I packed up this microphone, some lights, and my iPad, and just wanted to record as much as I could and bring the story back to you all. So I hope you enjoy it. A lot of the content that they film on their social media channels happens right there in their kitchen and in their living room with their family there. And they welcomed me and were just the most fantastic hosts. So enjoy the show, enjoy their story. They're living a don't wait life if I've ever seen one. Enjoy.
Hey Lisa. So we're super excited to be able to actually meet you in person tomorrow. I know you've been following this journey, and we've interviewed with you a couple of times on your show through like Zoom, but we're really excited to actually get to meet you in person tomorrow and have you at my show tomorrow night. And yeah, we can't wait.
We can't wait.
Along the way on my road trip to meet Kaleb in Cheyenne, I made a stop in Boise, Idaho, and stayed at this fantastic Airbnb. I've been wanting to have one of these garage doors added to my house. I don't know if it can work with the way it's built, but I sure enjoyed this one. I continued on to Draper, Utah, where Cheyenne and Kaleb and two of their four kids welcomed me into their home. Their kids were very excited to see me. It might have been because I brought cupcakes. I recognize this room.
Yeah, why? Had a video.
Say hi, Lisa.
Hi. Let me see if you say hi.
Let's chat. You've been on my show a couple times, so that's not, people know you, at least my audience does. And that's why I wanted to come out. I asked you when's a good time to come this summer for a show, and you gave me a couple dates, and here we are.
Yep.
So we're going to your show tonight.
Yep.
And I just want to talk a bit about, we've kind of a recap. I've had you on the show a couple times, and you are blowing things up all on your own. You don't have a management team. You don't have a record deal. So talk a bit about where you're coming from, how y'all got started.
You want to take this one?
Sure. Basically, yeah, we're just growing online and trying to see. There's no really like end goal. We're not in any rush to, get a record label, or we're just gonna try and grow online and see how far we can go as much as possible.
I mean, online has been, for like a lot of people have just turned to social media to blow various types of businesses up, and ours just happens to be music, and it's worked really well from the family perspective too. Like, we get to do it as a family. You don't have to move to Nashville. I get to be in my kids' life and still put music out, and so I think that's been the biggest thing, and we're gonna keep going with that, I think, and maybe at some point we'll get a label involved, but probably not anytime
And you're
soon.
earning a living because you used to work full time, and that was part of what you were trying to do, is enable him to live out his dream and be here for his family at the same time.
Yeah.
And this happened a lot because you came on the scene during COVID.
Yeah. So, once everything shut down, people turned to, social media for entertainment. And his sister told us, like, you need to get on TikTok. And we're like, oh, we're too old for that, But I just ran up to him one day and asked him to sing some Jason Aldean, and, instantly got, like, I think it was 3,000 likes or something like that. And then the second day, a video went viral, and I was like, okay, I guess this could work.
Running straight for the sun, a loaded up double barrel shotgun. Yeah, I got rock and roll running through my blood.
I had been doing music for a really long time, but I had to give it up for a while. So I hadn't written a song in 5 years, 6 years. And I had two that I had written years ago, hoping that someday I would be able to record them when the time was right. And it was Sound of the South, and the other one was Sun Goes Down. I had those both written already, just waiting for the right time. And I'm like, hey, let's go get this recorded and put it out. And people loved it.
dance on the scene, yeah. Candlelight sail, but the moon's on step by step. If we start right now, do it all before the sun goes down. Here we go. Whoa.
Yeah, and that's kind of
we
how
just
it
kind of kept going. Like, as things have progressed, we just do the best we can to keep up, you know?
Yeah, we're new to it, so we're just, you know, learning as we go. And Sound of the South, when we kind of brought that about to our campfire family, we were like, well, let's make it a goal. Like, we're trying to get back to Nashville. And so he would sing songs, people would donate through the app, and that's how we got to Nashville.
The campfire family, that's with a K.
Yeah,
For Kaleb.
K-A, yep.
Yeah. So talk about that.
They came up with that themselves, didn't they? Or did you?
And they are
They did.
your fans.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. Everybody who loves Kaleb Austin is part of the campfire family. We call them that, and they help us get, you know, they help this dream
I
stay
think because
alive.
one night I was like, man, this just feels like sitting around a campfire and playing music and everybody's just having a good time, you know, even though we can't really see anybody.
Yeah.
It just felt that's the energy of the live stream is people request good music, and I play a piece of just tons of different songs, and with conversations, just kind of hanging out like you're at around a campfire, and then one of our followers, probably Jimmer
or Gallows, maybe.
or Gallows, yeah, one of them that's been with us for a long time, typed it with a K-A, and that just stuck.
It's stuck, yeah.
I see your kids in the videos a lot, and they're part of this whole experience because you're in your living room, you're in your kitchen, you have your station set up there where you do your lives. I've seen you throw many a somethings at Kaleb in that kitchen to my right to get his attention to sing. And what do your kids think of it? Do they have a clue? Are they?
Yeah, I think they're starting to, you know, realize. Jameson will be like, we went to Target one time and this lady was talking to me about the socks on the aisle, and he was like, we got to go make a TikTok. And I was like, oh geez, you know, but they're starting to pick up. I don't know. I think River it's like all of a sudden he'll be kind of like singing to her, but as soon as a phone's on her, she's like, oh, Dad. Like, it's like she gets into it. It's like all of a sudden she's like, oh,
Camera's on.
Yes, and got to play my part. But yeah, she does.
She does. They all love it though. Like,
Yeah.
it's just it's fun to be able to involve the kids and the family, and
They're trying
Well,
to
and
do
it
it
doesn't. It's
themselves
so
now.
authentic too.
Mhm.
It's not like you're using your kids to get likes on videos.
No,
it's just your everyday
this is
life.
what we do. Yeah, and this is what we do. We always have music on. You know, just everyday life for us. So.
And we were getting down all night long with colors and crickets singing little love songs. South Georgia wind blowing over the house.
Good job.
One of the things that we were talking about off camera earlier is you talk about record deals, or you talk about tours and decision making that comes along with some of those bringing other people on. You do so well as the team of the two of you. And I know you have people that you produce with in Nashville, and so many, well, your fans fund your continuing to make music. You own your own music. That's huge. So, you know, I don't know, something would really have to come knocking on your door to do it any differently than you're doing it right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to a label deal, but it would have to be the right team, the right energy, the right timing. Just
It would have to really flow.
Yeah,
you know?
they would. You know, I wouldn't want to inhibit what we're doing now, or change it in any way. And I want my family always involved.
Yeah.
Because if it was just me being a road warrior by myself and I left my family in the dust, I would be miserable, and so would they, and that's just not.
Just wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work. So, I mean, I get it. There's times where I'll have to travel and do things, and the kids, you know, can't always be there. But I just want a label that understands that that's important to me, and that, you know, the music that I make, I want it to be always. I don't ever want to settle for a song and just be like, hey, this is popular right now. Let's throw this in your song. You know, I want to be able to say no. I want my sound this way. and
always have a little bit of control and
yeah, just
a say.
A tornado calling me in. That girl no man or cowboy can deny. Oh, my style.
How long now have you been writing? I mean, were you always writing when you were a kid? Were you a writer, just not knowing they were songs? How long have you been writing, and what's your method? I know you use your phone and memos and melodies and all.
Yeah, so I mean, I was writing a lot as a kid, and didn't really realize that, I loved writing, even like books or stories or whatever. I didn't start writing my first songs until I picked up a guitar, and I was like 14. And as soon as I learned a few chords, I started writing, songs, and they were terrible in the beginning. There's recordings of them somewhere that I'm probably going to find and burn, but I don't
post it on the Patreon. Behind the scenes.
They were bad, but so I took a break from writing songs for like 5 years. So like all in all, I think I've written maybe for 10 years or something like that. And moving to Nashville, I learned a lot there from writers and being just exposed to the amount of talent that's there, so I was able to pick up on kind of how to write a song. And then I guess my style of writing, I want to write things in a different way. I don't want to just rhyme to rhyme. I want to paint a different image. There's only so many things you can sing about, right? So you're not going to invent the wheel, right? You're just trying to reinvent heartbreak or love or partying or drinking or any of the, because music is emotions, right? And there's only so many emotions that we can feel. But the challenge is trying to write something that's unique, but that will also speak to people universally, but also be true to me. And I've really found that the more true to me I am, the more it speaks to everybody else. I used to write songs like, oh, this one would be cool for Aldine or somebody like that. Or, when I was just writing as a writer, not really looking to record my own stuff. And it never really worked out. It was always trying to force a line or force this or that. And then...
Well, in writing, like, with stuff that's, like, close to him, we can kind of tell stories behind it. And that's, like, the songwriting, the music, everything is there. But that's really kind of what hooks people on social media. It's just like, oh my gosh, like that's
just things that have happened,
and they can relate to it too. Not everybody's out there just being wined and dined, and it's happy-go-lucky world everywhere. So people can relate to
So I try to keep my radar on always. If I hear a cool line or a cool story, or it happens all the time anywhere, I'll pull out my phone and record a memo and then when I sit down to write a song the next week or whatever, I go through my memos and I'm like, okay, what am I digging today? Like, what am I kind of feeling, what kind of song? And then let's go from there.
Well, I think any great business has a great story, and you are in business for yourselves. And so the story of you, coming up with the idea to toss him guitar and just put him on the spot and get him to sing. And so Kaleb, you weren't on that map until Cheyenne started doing this for you.
Yep.
What does that mean to you? To have her support.
It means the world.
Don't make me cry.
Honestly, I really couldn't do it without her, and I wouldn't want to, because we've always, ever since we first were dating and stuff, like we were just always together and did everything as a team. And so for her to jump on board with my music career and believe in me the way that she does, and put me on the map essentially, because I write the songs and I've done it for years, and I guess didn't know that I was getting myself prepared for the opportunity that she was going to give to me, and so that's why it works, is because she's a badass and she is the best promoter and just the best teammate in it, and it really, that's the only reason it works, because I could write the best song in the world, but without her, no one would hear it. So.
Yeah, it's I just think he has what it takes, and if I didn't know those videos were gonna blow up. I just had been kind of watching some TikToks, and I'm like, well, he has a talent. I'm going to put it out there. And it was, honestly, I didn't think about it. I just thought I was posting a video and people loved it. And now, but you gotta, the content has to stay creative. I can't just be like, babe, sing this song or every single day. So I'm like, it's hard to think of stuff. So I'm like, I'll start throwing things at him, or I'll jump out and scare him, or, trying to keep it spicy.
My Colorado hind needs a bone on fire. Turn it up, turn the night on. Let the 7-man 7 pour on real strong.
Your goal was to not give up your dream and to be able to do this full time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Done. And what do you think was the threshold that enabled you to do this full time, and now this is what you do as a family and this is how you earn a living? What was the thing that you did that changed that or made you see that it could?
I think after Sound of the South did really well.
We were waiting to see. Well, and we also were burning the candle at both ends for a long time, like going live, and he had his job, and it was insane. We would wake up at 4 a.m. that I would wake up, make him breakfast, make his lunch, and then he'd be off to work, and the kids would wake up, and we'd go about our day. And then as soon as he would get home, we would do a TikTok, make dinner, or post a TikTok, make dinner, and then put the kids to bed. Right at 5 o'clock, we were making dinner, and then I think 7 o'clock is when we put our kids to bed, and then we'd go live. But we used to go live till 1 or 2 in the morning. And so those days that, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, those next days were so rough.
You keep playing until people
if the songs are donated for.
And that's the way it started, is because we would go live and people would request music, and I would just play it, and I would get through as many as I could. But then people were like, you never play my song, you never play my song. Well, I'm like, well, there's too many of them. I can't, literally can't
play all of them.
So here's what we're going to do, and it's going to help me get to Nashville. It's going to, so people want
not to move, but to fund to go make more music.
Right, to go get recordings done. I'm like, I need recordings done. So if you guys guaranteed want to hear your song, I will do it. And what that's going to do is help build this dream. And I think really people jumped on it because they wanted to see the dream build. They wanted to see, it wasn't just paying for a song, right? It's bigger than that.
Yeah. So you basically hold online concerts from your living room, and people make donations, and it's like putting money in a jukebox, and they get to hear the song that they paid for.
Yeah, any song.
Any song. Yeah, it's been.
So you have to know a lot of stuff then.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to just.
Yeah, and if I've never heard it before, I'll pull it up on YouTube and learn it real quick, and then
He listens to maybe 30 seconds of it, and then he was like, okay, well, either I'll do it really good or I'll do it really bad.
But
so
either way, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. We're going
and
for it.
And I've played everything from Eminem
Britney
to
Spears.
Tupac to Britney Spears to, Shania Twain, everything, any genre, all of it.
And so that's what started changing it for you. Then was having this.
Yep. So that whole thing started, and then Sound of the South came out and did really well. And I'm like, well, maybe we can keep going on this route. And we did that for 6 or 7 months, and things were going really well. And then
we just physically couldn't do waking up at 4 a.m. and staying awake all night and
to suffer at work. I was really foggy brained, and I'm really stressed out.
And writing new music,
didn't have time for it all.
We just didn't have time for it all anymore.
So I told her, I was like, well,
tell them what your actual breaking point was.
So I'd worked, I don't know, a 12, 13-hour day at my regular job, and then came home, and we went live that night until about 12:30.
He forgot he was on
call.
call.
I didn't know I was on call. And so I hit the pillow. 10 minutes later, I got called out, and I had to go work out at the airport for another...
And it was such a mess getting back and forth.
For another 6 or 7 hours. And so I was, basically working for over 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
it was, he was just like, I can't do this anymore.
And I told her, I was like, I'm too tired. I can't do it anymore. I have to, if we're going to make this work, we're going to make it work. And luckily, things have gone well. And we've worked hard.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of work.
Yeah. So, and it's hard to call it work
Because it's fun. Yeah,
there's an
we have a lot
immense
of fun
amount
doing
of
it.
effort that's put in, but
Yes.
it's not really work. You know, it's something that I've dreamed of my whole life, as far as I remember. You know, and now meeting people and starting to work with people that I've looked up to my whole life, and starting to see things happen in my own career for my own music is like the coolest thing that I could ever that could have ever happened.
When you two were starting out in your relationship, was this something he talked about in his dream to do music full time, or was that something you'd already given up on, Kaleb?
So I was actually still doing music when we first met. I was actually playing a show and when we met, and then but it wasn't really. I mean, I was pursuing music for sure, so she knew that's what I wanted to do. But until we started doing the social media thing, I really didn't have.
You were never
because I was doing, like, you know, I'd moved to Nashville for a while. I toured in fairs, festivals, so many clubs. I mean, there was one year I think I played like 200 shows.
You paid all the dues.
Yeah, in as many different ways as I possibly could. You know, tried to write with people that anything. You know, and none of that really paid off, even close to social media and what she's done. You know, for me. And
but I feel like
all of that prepared me for
that's what
preparation definitely meets opportunity. And then with what you did, doing it in such an authentic way, and having the Campfire family and the people who really support you. Like I said, if it had been a publicist doing it for you, or some other, you know, whatever, the management,
right.
Obviously there are people who do that and they do it very well, but
and it's also self-promotion. Like, he has his own page on there.
And there's a million talented singers and people out there. So the only thing that I can do is be authentic and you know, and do it with my family and try to connect with people through what we've been through and our story, and my songs are my story. And, you know, because if it was just me saying, hey, this is my new song, and it was recorded perfectly, it's a great song, but there's no real meaning behind it, then nobody really cares.
So you met Cheyenne and Kaleb on TikTok?
Yeah, I met them in like March of 2021.
So you just like their stuff?
Yeah, I found the songs and just started following them and commenting in lives and stuff, and then found out they lived close to where I was, and we became really good friends.
They're worth coming for.
Yes, very much so.
I came 6 times further than you, but I like them too.
And got turned away from The Voice and American Idol. People told me I wouldn't make it in Nashville, so I decided to write a song for them and tell them, to hell with that. I'm going to keep doing what I do and chasing my dream. So for anybody out there that wonders if you're going to chase your dream or not, you can chase it, because I'm going to chase it back. And thank you so much for Lisa right here. She drove all the way from Washington to come hang out with us today. This one's called Till the Day I Go. I hope you guys like this song. I was raised up by Jesus and John. Man.